Thanks for inviting us in. It's 6 o'clock and we begin tonight tracking strong winds and really cold weather. Those big changes arriving the day before Thanksgiving. Good to have you along. Rob's in for Angela with more on this weather impact alert date, not only today, but what's coming Saturday.
Yeah, I think really for today, it's because of the cold winds that we've been seeing, and those are going to improve a bit as the winds come down, but then by Saturday, we're watching the next system. So let's get you through Thanksgiving. Let's talk about what you can expect. Temperatures are currently into the mid-30s, and overall, that's not terrible for this time of year, but it's the fact that the winds have been so strong. We've seen some gusts at times over 40 and 50 miles per hour. Now, these are beginning to calm just a bit. They're not going to go to calm, but they're at least not the strong gusts that we saw. Still some 40-mile-per-hour gusts on the board, but it's nothing like the 40 to 50-mile-per-hour gusts that we had just a little bit earlier. Again, we all have these west winds with temperatures into the 30s. It's making it feel so much colder out there. Wind chill is 26 currently, but probably going to go into the teens during the overnight and won't improve much for tomorrow. Chance of snow showers possible over the next few hours, but most of that should be wrapping up. We'll do a low of 25. That is a chilly start to Thanksgiving, and because it's going to stay breezy for tomorrow, our wind chills in the morning will likely be in the low teens, maybe even a couple of spots with single-digit wind chills. That only improves into the mid-20s for wind chills, with our daytime high temperature only 34 for Thanksgiving. I mentioned that we're going to have that next system arrive on Saturday. I'll walk you through that hour by hour. If you have travel plans, you're going to want to stay tuned to that.
Rob, we'll see you in a little bit. Over the next couple of weeks, you and I will likely find out how lawmakers want to change Indiana's congressional map. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker joins us in studio tonight. She's got the latest on this redistricting debate.
You know, Scott, for the past several weeks, Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray has said that the votes just were not there in his caucus to support redistricting. And in the next few weeks, we're going to find out if that still holds true. A political science expert we spoke with today said just because lawmakers are finally going to consider mid-cycle redistricting doesn't mean it's a foregone conclusion.
This week's announcement from the House and Senate may keep the conversation going, but it doesn't mean mid-cycle redistricting in Indiana is a sure thing. That's the position of IU political science professor Paul Helmke.
If Ray is right that he doesn't have the support for it before, he's not going to have the support for it on December 8th, I don't think, unless these pressure campaigns change somebody. And I'm sure there are a few there that can still be pressured. So that's why people are putting that pressure on.
Over the past few days, Hoosiers have been receiving texts like this one, urging support for President Trump's redistricting plan in Indiana. On the other side,
I've been a Republican my whole life.
A new 30-second ad out today from Indiana Conservation Voters. The nonpartisan voting rights advocacy group has been against mid-cycle redistricting the entire time. Now its latest ad is showcasing people who the organization says are Hoosier Republicans who feel the same way.
I want Republicans to win.
But mid-cycle redistricting isn't the right way to do it. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars.
And it gives D.C. more power to tell us what to do.
We're just trying to make it clear that this isn't where Hoosiers are on the issues. Hoosiers want our legislators to focus on the things that impact their everyday lives.
A lot's going to depend on what the specific House map looks like.
So far, though, any proposed map hasn't been made public. Helmke says whatever's going to happen needs to happen soon because filing deadlines for candidates are just around the corner.
If they're going to change things, they've got to get them passed by both houses, signed by the governor and to the county clerks in time for people to know which district they live in so people know who can run and who can't run.
Helmke says even if both chambers do pass a new map, that's not where it ends.
As soon as the maps are officially, if there are changes made and they're approved by the governor, there will be a lawsuit filed within an hour.
Yeah, and rallies against redistricting are planned for the next 2 Mondays, this coming Monday and the one following at the State House. So far, we haven't seen a bill on redistricting yet. We'll let you know if that changes.
All right, we know this will be a busy couple of weeks for you over at the State House. Thanks,
sure.
Emily. Emily and Dustin Grove have been following this big redistricting debate every step of the way. You can see all the reaction from state lawmakers over on Crossroads Politics. You can stream that program right now. It's on our free app, which is WTHR+. Tonight we are learning new details about the man who police shot and killed yesterday in Johnson County. Ashton Hackman tonight explains how a violent domestic assault last summer put this man back on investigators' radar.
Long before officers confronted and shot Robert Beto in this Franklin parking lot, a violent incident inside his home last June had already put him on IMPD's radar. Police say Beto pulled a gun on his then wife and threatened to kill her in front of several children in the home. When officers arrived that night, investigators say Beto barricaded himself, then jumped out of a second-story window and ran. A loaded handgun was later found in the grass below. Beto was never arrested, and the case was never filed.
Metro Police aren't telling us why they revisited that domestic violence case from last summer, but we do know police were back at Beto's home on Saturday investigating a vandalism case, and just steps away, the shooting death of his neighbor, 64-year-old Jeffrey Finkel.
Metro Police won't name Beto as a suspect in that homicide, but say he was a person of interest in a recent one. By Monday, officers had an arrest warrant and a judge-approved order for a DNA sample. But after police shot and killed Beto on Tuesday, the case was dismissed the next morning. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Tonight, a U.S. Postal Service worker in Bloomington is facing dozens of charges for allegedly stealing mail. According to the court documents, 57-year-old Michelle Crabtree is tonight accused of stealing more than 1,000 pieces of mail, taking money and drugs, and setting stolen items on fire. Investigators say they got a tip that Crabtree had several garbage bags full of stolen items. Police say officers discovered dozens of checks worth more than $3,500, hundreds of grams of weed, and other drugs as well. Tonight, IU is lifting restrictions on certain fraternities, allowing them to resume activities as early as December 1st. We've been previously reporting about these restrictions placed on all the fraternities at the IU Bloomington campus after allegations surfaced of hazing and assault. IU says those fraternities that are in good standing can resume all activities. Those organizations still under investigation will remain under social restrictions. Happening right now, interstates are busy, filled with travelers hitting the roads for Thanksgiving. We've got our Brandon Schaff in Whitestown tonight, where he's been talking to travelers as they stopped here in our state. So Brandon, how does it look out there right now?
Yeah, good evening, Scott. One day away from Thanksgiving, and I-65 is filled with travelers that are trying to get there for Thanksgiving dinner, but everything appears to be running smoothly out here, and that's a good thing because you've got some people, travelers that I spoke with earlier, traveling across the country. INDOT saying that drivers should be anticipating all of these cars on the road for the holiday, no matter if you're here on I-65 or anywhere across the state. INDOT will lift construction restrictions for smaller projects where it's safe to do so, to try to make it a little easier for these drivers as they're trying to make their way across Indiana. And normal construction will resume next Monday. State police say that they also want safety to be top of mind for all these drivers, since with more cars on the road, that means more travel time and the need to plan ahead. And just down the road, I spoke with a family at a travel center that stopped during their trip from Chicago to Charlotte. They say that they celebrated Thanksgiving early to try to beat this traffic the best that they could. All in one car, they had 3 young kids and 2 dogs making the trip.
Or try to decrease the time in the car as much as possible. And then, you know, it's I've seen a substantial uptick in the traffic going back down to Charlotte on a Wednesday versus, you know, when we were traveling up on Saturday.
And to keep our roads safe during this busy time, state police say that they have organized patrols during the next few days, increasing patrols in areas where they typically see the most crashes. And they also tell me that they see an increase in drunk driving during this time of year, and say that drivers need to find better options so they don't hurt anyone. Well, by the way, when it comes to that drive between Chicago and Charlotte, that's about 12 hours. So you can certainly see why they're trying to minimize how much time they're all crammed into that car together. But they say that they were happy that the weather at least cleared up enough to make that drive a little easier. Scott, back to you.
All right, Brandon Schaff in Boone County. Be safe out there, my friend. Thanks so much. Still ahead on this Wednesday night, groups are already giving back ahead of Thanksgiving. Ahead, hear from the teenager helping provide hundreds of meals to Hoosiers in need.
Well, our forecast for Thanksgiving is only going to be into the 30s. We're going to have some overnight low temperatures and wind chills. They're going to be in the teens. I'll talk about those coming up.
But first, Indiana now requesting $1 billion from the federal government. We'll talk about the plans to use that money to improve rural health care. That story's next.